Hello everybody, and welcome to the 9th ever episode of the Last Resort podcast. What you listen to when the internet has nothing better to offer. That's how you do the intro.
Screw you.
You didn't make a mistake. Very good. Okay, we can finally talk about the thing that we've been shouting at each other not to talk about.
Oh, yeah, I know. Because people kept talking to us about it, and I was like,
no,
no,
you can't have this conversation.
Don't do it. Have this conversation tomorrow.
Okay, Doctor Who. The
Yes.
Battle of, what's her name?
Crap.
The Battle of Ranskoor Av Kolos.
Cries for help, all coming from the same
Because
thread.
they had.
Sorry, didn't mean to play
the
that.
intro. Because they had to give it a really difficult name. What did you think?
What did I think? I wasn't so sure about it being a season finale.
I get what you mean.
It didn't feel like a season finale. It just felt like, but it didn't have, like, bringing back the character, that was very season finale, but at the same time I felt that it could have been amped up a bit more.
So I feel like it was kind of a weird one because in some ways it felt less big as like many of the other series finales, but really the stakes were higher than a lot of the other ones have been because there was at one point a risk that the Earth was going to be like destroyed and taken into an icebox thing. So
but I feel like I feel like it wasn't.
They didn't really play it up enough. So they made this step of having such a big threat, but then they didn't do anything with that threat other than have the characters there. So like one thing I really liked about like the Davies era was that the series finale often then they included the families of the companions and other people like on Earth, and that really made it feel like a big grand thing that's affecting loads of people. But because we only stuck with the 4 main companions here and like a couple other side characters, it was a bit like isolated from the real danger it was actually trying to put
because you couldn't really tell what the time frame compared to Earth was. So we were on this planet like 3,000 years later from when where he was transported or whatever. But what time is it on planet Earth? Is it 2018? What's going on? Like it doesn't really matter a whole lot if it's 3,000 years in the future and it's got no people on it anymore.
Yeah, and it would have been cool to have something of like when that great big red thing came through the sky and started engulfing the Earth.
People were like,
I was like, are people just
what's
walking
going on?
around doing what they're doing? Are people scared? Is there some government thing that's going, oh my god, we're panicking? Like some future government from 3,000 years in the future, where this is kind of like, they're like, we're being, where like it's not a big thing to be attacked by extraterrestrials, but it's still dangerous, if that makes sense.
However, I did quite like it. As an episode, I did quite like it. I think my favourite bit was probably when Yaz and the Doctor said the same thing. They were like the solution, and they said it right at the same time. Only because it makes Yaz more like important because she knows what she's talking about.
There's like loads and loads of people going, I still don't get the point in Yaz, but I think Yaz really has got a strong storyline of falling for the Doctor going through the whole series, but I think it's just so subtle in like a good way that people don't really notice it. But I think that when if it is confirmed at some point, I think then watching back through the series, you're going to notice things like, oh, I didn't see that before. That's something about Yaz's character, about her with the Doctor, that we might not have noticed.
Speaking of which, can we talk about the poster for the New Year's?
The poster for New Year's?
So the New Year's episode is like there's a poster from like a magazine, and it says on the magazine. Wait, let me find it. On the photo. Wait, give me a sec.
I'm just looking through posters now, see if I can
Oh, here we go. It says people have said it's an important moment in the show's history.
Ooh.
That's
Okay.
that's telling, isn't it? And she's
Yeah.
got that like
That
gay ass
scarf.
scarf on.
Yeah.
That's that heckin' scarf.
Yeah.
I have to like purchase
Yeah,
this
you
scarf.
do. You need to get it.
That would be hello.
Oh, God.
But they're hinting so hard.
Yeah.
If there's not at least a little bit of
It better come
something,
out in the end.
I'm gonna be really annoyed because they'd be queer baiting, and I hate that so much.
Yeah, but I think
Even if it's just subtle.
I don't think Chibnall would do that. I've got enough faith in
No, me
Chibnall
either.
that he's trying to make it as subtle as possible to make it real, if that makes sense. Like Yaz wouldn't be going about shouting to the doctor that she likes her. It should be, cautious and stuff.
No.
You know.
Not like that in the way that they're saying things like this no important
Oh
moment
yeah,
shows history, and she's got this gay ass
And
scarf
then if
on,
nothing happens, it's a bit.
and if nothing happens except like maybe a glance,
Yeah, it doesn't count for what they're saying.
it's almost like they're just pulling people
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I'm really excited for the New Year's Day special. That trailer
Oh, me too. Jeez,
looks so good.
less than a
I
month.
think
No
it's
counting
like 3
down.
weeks or something, and I
Yeah.
I almost feel like it looks better than every episode we've had so far.
Yeah,
And
it
like
does, I think.
and one scene from it that I really liked was that car skidding round the corner, because I really like it when things happen on Earth with like exciting stuff happens on Earth and it feels real to us rather than it just being on some faraway alien planet. And I think we've got to get the Daleks in it, because if
Yes.
they're suddenly like, hey, this other creature is what the Doctor would call the most dangerous creature, it'll be a bit,
In the finale episode, I couldn't when he started talking. The what's the alien's name?
Tim Shaw.
Tim Shaw. When he started talking and they realised who it was, for a second I couldn't figure out why they were so shook, and for a second I thought it was like the Dalek leader.
Oh yeah.
I was like, first of all,
like, what is going on here?
what is going on here? And then I was confused because everybody else was so shook, like all the side characters, if maybe the Doctor had like told them more about like the Daleks or whatever. But then I realised that it was
Tim Shaw.
Tim Shaw, and I really did like the way that Graham was like, "I'll kill him," but then he couldn't actually do it.
Yeah,
It was kind of predictable, but it was quite predictable. But it was nice that it was his kind of closure. So like he didn't have to do something like kill him, but he could still like put him into like a
in a thing.
like a prison. He could serve his time.
If I didn't know that Graham was in the New Year's thing, then part of me would have been like, I could actually see Graham getting really angry and killing him. So I think they could have...
that thought did cross my mind. Yeah, that he ended up killing him, and the Doctor being like, "I can't have you on my ship anymore,"
a cool
and like taking it back home. I'm kind of hoping that at least Graham gets like, I don't know,
rejected,
left behind. I don't know, because Graham doesn't have this huge. It was nice for him to be there because he got all this like time off while he was grieving about Grace.
I get what you
and
mean.
that was like a good storyline, but he's not really like an important character. Like Yaz is, and I think Ryan is as well.
I feel like
because Ryan's not been like he's had a really tough life with his dyslexia.
And he's still got stuff to do. But Graham's arc is kind of closed now. So yeah, but then at the same time, I feel like Graham and the Doctor have a good relationship, and Yaz and the Doctor do. But we've not really seen that much with the Doctor and Ryan. It's kind of just been the Doctor being like, "No, don't shoot those robots," and then
yeah.
But and then about Tim Shaw returning, it's like throughout the series, I kind of didn't want him to, but I actually feel like it kind of works, and it
did work, but I was hoping that it was going to be a bit more than just Tim Shaw.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Like maybe that or like that Tim Shaw was like watching them while they like did their journey or whatever somehow, and then would like because we
was
were talking about
plucking
how
out
they
the
didn't kill,
villains. Yeah,
and they was taking like because that guy was put into like wherever, like on Rosa
yeah,
one,
yeah,
and he could have like pulled him out of wherever he was, and he would be part of the army, and then there was to be another one part of the
yeah.
army.
I was like,
I think that would have been a better storyline. I
part of me
think
feels like that would have
than
been
just Tim
cool, but
Shaw.
at the same time, I'm kind of like,
Be a bit
well,
predictable.
yeah, and like it kind of bugs me when a finale for a Doctor only ever includes things from that series. Because part of me is like, but the Doctor's been alive for years and years and years. How come just by chance all these guys that we've just seen happen to appear? It just feels a bit less realistic for me. But you
True.
know, I really liked the TARDIS doing its cool stuff, putting the planets back, and like the
Yes, I
Ugs
love it when the
in it.
TARDIS is more than just a ship.
Yeah, and it's like it seems really powerful. But so like it seems powerful, but the fact that it's struggling just gives this extra sense of power and grandeur to what it's doing.
Because I think when we were with
Hmm.
Smith, there was a very like the TARDIS is like an entity kind of feeling
Yeah,
because we had that
when the
episode where the
TARDIS was a
TARDIS was
person.
a woman,
Yeah.
which I loved.
But then one thing
Um,
one thing that bugged me about Smith is like the TARDIS just seemed like super chill and easy to fly. But I really liked in Tennant the way it like
yes,
rattled about and didn't like and it just sometimes landed in the wrong place just to you know be a pain. But
that I agree with.
yeah,
However, I did like the fact that it was like an entity. It wasn't just a ship. Like they could communicate. He would talk
that's
to
true.
the
And it would
TARDIS, and it
respond.
would like respond in a specific way. And this, I think, this was very almost like that in the way that
Yeah,
I don't know.
so like it almost felt like the TARDIS was an extra character fighting alongside them, rather than them just
Yeah,
using it. Yeah, I get that.
I do like that.
The freezing planets thing, I feel was a cool concept, but I feel like it kind of deserved a bit more, a, a more impacting episode, if that makes sense. As it seems like such a
Yes.
so like Journey's End and Stolen Earth, those David Tennant episodes when the Daleks steal Earth, which is referenced in this episode.
Yeah.
It's like that was like one of the big finales for Tennant's era. Those two episodes, and Rose came back, and there was all the companions, and it was a massive,
Yeah.
and the Daleks, and it was a big thing for the Earth to move and for these other planets to be stolen. And I feel like in this, they're like, oh yeah, cool, let's like steal the Earth because why not? And it just
Yeah.
it seemed a bit undeserved to have such a big thing happening. You know?
But I did like the way that the captured planets were portrayed
Yeah, they looked
in those
cool.
little orbs, and the way that they were like spinning
Yeah.
and inside the.
And then
I did like that part of it.
also, I like the way that we had no idea what they were, and it was actually a shock when they're
Yeah.
like, "It's a planet," because I would never have thought that it would have been a planet just
No,
looking at
yeah.
it. So, and then the Uggs were cool. I quite like those people, and the acting was
Yes,
good.
I like that it was like something we hadn't seen before.
Yeah,
Like because Tim Shaw, like he's like an alien is blue, whatever.
yeah, they seem like
But
a
this is like
culture
a
that was
two
new
like a two entity
race kind of
thing,
thing.
and they talk about like generations, but there is only ever had been
Yeah,
two.
it's cool. They were really unique.
I did
in
like
the
that.
thing.
The cast weren't all white,
Yes, which was nice. It's really good. Some
which is always
diversity.
nice. I
Very nice.
do like that.
Was there something else I had to say? I can't remember. For some reason, I've got Yaz written down on my piece of paper, and I think I had a point to say like Yaz, and I can't remember what it was. Something to do with Yaz and the Docs, probably. But
Other than Yaz, you got anything else
Yaz.
to say about
I don't think so.
Doctor
The way that that was on. So the moment where Yaz and the Doctor were like, right, we're taking off our brain stabilizers to put on these things. I feel like that didn't have a consequence, if that makes sense. I feel
Yeah.
like it would have been cool
Agreed.
if like, because for like a couple minutes after, Yaz seemed a bit dazed, and it would have been cool if, right, wait, Yaz is ill because she's taking this thing off. so that there was actually consequence of that and
Yeah.
another sense of danger that was more personal to the Doctor. Would have been quite cool. But
that would have been nice if she was like
collapsed or
like
something.
like oh crap, I didn't I forgot that this would happen.
Yeah.
Because the Doctor's got quite a strong brain, whereas Yas is just a human.
So it's like, that could have been cool. Showrunners, you missed a trick. Anyway, I think. Oh, and then also it would have maybe been nice to have like a tiny bit at the end when like I don't know they're like we're back in Sheffield or something, just to like round it off because it did include Tim Shaw. So it, I don't know. We might begin in Sheffield in the next one, as it looks like it's on Earth. And the New Year's Day special, I just want to say that I really like the way that it looks like it's got like war in the past and then war in the present in that teaser. Just that whole thing was really cool. But that's all I have to say about Doctor Who.
Yeah, me too.
So we can move on.
Now we can talk about I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah.
Woo.
So I know that we both feel quite similar about this.
Yes, I wasn't enthralled. I can see why Harry did win,
Same.
but I wasn't enthralled when he did.
I feel like for a really long time people have loved Harry, but he just doesn't really appeal to me that much. And
well, the thing is, he's I don't know. He's just like for a lot of years we've had just I don't know, just so I don't know, man.
On what?
Just like so for example, for a really long time we just had kings. We didn't have a lot of queens.
And then past 3 years we've had like queens.
And we've had queens and all that. I was hoping Fleur would win because
really?
we've never. Oh yeah, I really wanted Fleur to win. I was hoping Fleur would win or someone like that because it's always like. I don't know. I just heckin' diversity, man.
I just feel like the last 3 years we've had like quite so last 2 years we've had quite like bubbly young females, and then the year before that we had Vicky, who was quite like a confident, like bullish young female, if that makes sense. I kind of wanted a king this year. And I just really, really like John, and I just really wanted John to win. But sadly, the British public didn't agree. And like, I feel like part of me didn't like Harry didn't appeal to me that much because like, to me he just felt like almost like a stereotypical like grandpa, if that makes like a traditional male white, if that makes sense. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Which, like, is fine, but to me, I just found John hilarious and funny, and like when.
Yes, and I was hoping John would win because it wasn't just some like random not random, but like some like I don't know, because it's different. I'd like it to be different because it's all the same. Like either a girl that wasn't the squeamish girl, but like a stronger girl, or like an older white guy.
Vicky was that 3 years ago, which was good. Was the non-squeamish girl?
I was. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That those are the girls that win, and then it's either like it's never. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
And the something that unnerved me a bit with Harry was, I know he's older, and sometimes like old people don't quite know like what's okay to say or whatever. Is that when Anne, when they were talking about their fantasy dinners, Anne said like to older people, and then she said, "Oh, I'd also like this historian," and I think she would confuse the other two because she's trans and she didn't, and they probably never met a trans person before. And then Harry said something like, "Oh, I can't make it," as if like pretending to be this trans woman because it's funny because he's like not.
No. So I think that he said that because all these people were like really boring people who were really sciencey.
You're gone.
Hello.
You're gone. You went then.
Hello? You there? You should be there.
Are you
Okay.
back?
Okay, so I think that he said that not because they were trans, but because all these people were really like boring sciencey people.
No, I
As
don't.
like in the context, as I can remember the thing you mean, and I can remember hearing that and thinking, oh, don't say that about Anne. Just because she likes these sciencey people doesn't mean, you know, because
No,
like
I
all of them were like were like sighing a bit when she was going through these people and going like, oh well, this person did this and that'd be interesting because they were to do with this and then this and I think that's why he did it, not because.
no, and yeah, like I'm not saying that he's the worst person in the world because he said this thing. I'm just saying it just unnerved me a little bit.
One thing that really bugged me is the way that like he was the one who left the toilet seat up, which is like
Yeah.
that kind of sums up him, if that makes sense. He's someone who's so set in his ways and so used to being able to do things that he doesn't really realise maybe it's not the best way. And
Yeah.
like also the way that like he's never done any washing up, he's never done any cooking, he's always had it done for him. He just seems like a traditional like older generation, you know.
Like Sandra does everything.
Yeah, he seems very much like 1950s kind of guy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it kind of annoyed me that it was somebody who'd never seen the show before, and he was
It
kind of only
bugs me
doing
when
it
they've
for
never
like the
seen the
publicity.
show.
He kind of like only did it for the publicity or the
Yeah.
money or whatever. You could tell that was why he did it in the
It's
first
like-
place, and he may have changed as the time went on, but that was still the reason he went in, and because I feel like people like John and Emily and Fleur,
kind of
they
just
all
went
did it
in
because
for
it was
fun and
for like the experience, yeah, and they knew it was coming
Emily
on. And the
especially
thing is, if I was
went in for that.
if I was going on, I'm a celeb to get me out of it, or something
Yeah.
like that, like a reality TV show, I would at least watch like
Yeah.
a
Some of
recap.
it. And like it's like Amir last year had seen none of it, and there were just so many times where he was like, "Oh, I can't believe that! I can't believe they're doing that!" And it's like you should have watched the show that you know that you're on. But like, part of me also doesn't mind too much that he's won because I'm quite happy for him to be like the king up above, and then below we have like John and Emily who are like the runners up and like the prince and princess or like whatever. And I feel like those two, you know, it's like so basically I'm imagining in front of me a family tree of this, and I can see Harry as the king with Sandra, and then like the two kids like John and Emily, and then Fleur's like the badass auntie or something, and Anne's the other auntie who's
Yeah.
brain, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm, you know, I can live with it, but I really wanted John to win.
I did want John to win. Well, yeah, because I wanted John to win, and then I wanted when John became third, which actually quite surprised me.
Yeah.
I wanted Emily to win.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would have been really nice for Emily to win, because she's gained so much like confidence from this, and she came out of it having gained something rather than just realizing that you're still like lazy.
Yeah. And like but one thing I really liked is that none of them really cared who won, and like they were also happy that Harry won. So that also.
And I think that this year has been one of like the nicest groups of people.
It has been the nicest because 2 years ago we had Martin, who stirred things up. Last year we had he was the grey-haired guy that came in late with the politician. I can't remember his name. Who did the whole
Ian
with Strawberry Gate and stuff when they ate those strawberries.
Oh yeah, because they ate the strawberries. Oh, I was furious. Well, I wasn't furious, but you know what I mean. Like it was very triggering.
But then this year, like there was a bit of tension with Noel, but no one ever actually didn't like someone, and like there might have been like a disagreement over rice, but no one actually got personally insulted by it. It was just it was all down with really well.
I have a bit of a theory that
a bit of a theory.
Crap, I forgot what theory. A theory that Noel would like the contract for Noel Edmonds was that he would get the shortest
that
time
he'd go
possible,
first.
which is why he went out. That's why he came in
I
late,
saw
and that's
that.
why he went first, because there was a contract for him to have a really short amount of time in there.
Yeah, because I was very shocked that he went out first, because I thought people would be voting for him. Oh, for God's sake! Did you not see my note in the kitchen? Yeah, I said 5:05. Yeah, in like 5 minutes, if that's okay. Or 10, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. We're going to have to do editing now, which will be fun.
Cut that out, that's fine.
Yeah, so Noel, what were we on about? Yeah, so I do feel like Noel,
contract,
Noel's coming short. I really liked the episode 2 days ago as well, with their families when they came in.
Yeah, that was so sweet. I really liked what's John's husband's name?
I
Scott. They were so
that
sweet.
One was the one that got me. Like the other ones, I was okay with,
crying.
even like Harry, which I know a lot of people kind of.
I didn't, because people were talking about how lovely it was to see them together. I didn't really get that from it. Like, yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Like a couple that haven't seen each other for a while, but it wasn't like all.
But then John and Scott, he was like,
that
"What
was
are you
really
doing
cute.
here? What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so good."
Oh. And then he was like talking about Emily and introduced him to Emily and like talking about how having her over, but she's not allowed to ruin the furniture.
Oh, so good. I really like.
I love their friendship like a lot. So I think we should talk about Holly as well.
Holly, I think, done a really good job. I think they definitely picked the right person, and like it's kind of been nice to have a change for a series, to have like someone who freaks out and, you know, screams at the campmates and the bush tucker trials and stuff. I've really liked it. It's been good. But it will be nice to have Ant back, because there were some points where you felt like... you know,
things didn't quite like land.
Yeah. But
I didn't think for what she had, she did a good job.
She really did. So, well done, Holly.
Good job, Holly.
Good job. And it's going to be cool when she gets back to this morning, because hopefully there'll be some funny Christmas things with her and Phil on, because, you know, those two are always very good. Is that it? Have we I've got to go eat my tea now, because we've had to record this a bit later than usual.
That's right, we're basically at 30 anyway, plus intro, plus music.
Yeah.
We'll be about 30.
That'd be fine.
That's fine. We did quite long episodes before anyway.
So, yeah. That's it. At some point, I want to binge series 10 of Doctor Who in a day, and I feel like
we should do it together.
And I feel like once we've done that, we should record and just have a small segment on Doctor Who series 11 as a whole. And then we've got the resolution coming up. This is also our first episode in December, so we're getting Christmassy. We've got another...
Is it our first episode in December?
Oh wait, no, it's not. It's our second. Our second, sorry.
I just think it's last week.
Yeah, sorry.
Third.
Well, this is our first week in like December proper, when we're actually getting Christmassy. We've got another one.
Very Christmassy. Merry Christmas.
We've got to decide. So we've got an episode next Wednesday, and then I think how are we going to do it?
So what, next
Wednesday.
Oh, the Wednesday after that's the 26th. So I think next Wednesday
on
should
Tuesday, we should upload
it.
So it's on Christmas for a Christmas special.
Oh, so not next Wednesday, the one Tuesday?
No. As in like we will have an episode next Wednesday, but the one after that won't be on Boxing Day. We'll bring it forward.
It'll be on the 3rd. Okay, that's
but
fine.
we will have to find a way to share the files. But we might see each other on like Christmas Eve anyway. I don't know.
That's fine. Yeah.
Anyway, we can discuss it all. But I thought people. So yeah. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you very much for listening.
And you will hear us.
You'll hear us next week.